What's up, bro?
What up, Dane? What's happening?
Everything's everything. I was taking a little nap. You know the good thing about
Yeah, man. I had just made a quick little run. What's up with you? How's your health?
super good. Actually, I was about to
That's
take my
good.
blood. You know, it's important. I've been talking to a lot of the people in the medical industry that I know, and it really is important right now for diabetics to be in control. You know,
Yeah,
the thing about diabetes is it affects you later, so people sometimes get lazy about it. But right now, immediately, it's in your best interest to be in the best health of your life, or at least to make sure your immune system has the same chance as everybody else. See, when your blood sugar,
exactly.
when you're out of control, you're more susceptible to infection for anything. So that's why they say that. You know what I mean? So diabetics
Okay.
have got it and got through it, but you have to, if you're not, if your immune
Yeah,
system, and that's another reason why Black people are getting it a lot, because they're the ones that eat the cheapest denomination of food, which is the unhealthiest.
yeah.
All that
The
bodega.
car, the carnivore stuff. Yeah, I've been doing kind of vegan right now. So I've
Kind of
been I've
vegan.
been on that for the last. Yeah, I'm kind of vegan. I'm about to go all the way full vegan in a minute. I've been kind of vegan. I've been practicing and getting it right, learning how to cook certain things.
I hear that. That's good
It's
money.
actually cool, man. You don't, after you start eating like that, you don't really be tripping.
I mean, I've been like that for 3 years, and
Yeah.
the thing is,
Because I remember when you used to eat the steaks and all that stuff. It wasn't a hard adjustment for you though.
not at all, because meat automatically became disgusting to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I just can't eat it right now. It makes me nauseous. But like, I just had a burger that Rocky made that tastes better than a regular beef burger. It's just other alternatives that are healthy, and nothing has to die.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and she's, during this, being that I'm home all day, even though I usually was, but I'm not at the gallery, she's been cooking up a storm. Like, every day it's been off the hook. And also, that's why I think it's important that, if you get quarantined and you don't like the way your life is in the house, it's really
Yeah.
important when you come out of this, you figure out how, if you ever get quarantined again, that you really enjoy yourself and you don't feel it. This has been
Yeah.
time where all the independence that I've been talking about, where I say, if you have a boss, then that means if he can't pay you, then he can fire you, or there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. And
So,
a lot of people, a lot of my clients got fired, man. A lot of people got laid off that I know. A lot of people, man.
and that's
Been on their jobs for years.
and that's the insecurity part. I've always been trying to tell people that at the end of the day, you think there's security in the job, but really that means you're just dependent on that particular business being able to function. And if it can't,
Yeah.
then you're out of the job. And then what are you going to do? So a lot of people
Right.
are like, what am I going to do? And hopefully the job is still there when I get back. But
Yeah.
I think it's
Right.
important right now that people are like, I'm never going to let myself get in this position again. Because when you're independent on a lot of levels, you're pandemic proof. So all my numbers are up. All my businesses my production is actually stepped up in a safe way.
Okay.
And
Right.
I'm showing that in the middle of a war like this, it feels like no, it actually, and
You
again,
know what? And not to cut you off, but what's crazy? Remember, you said that yesterday. It was you already sort of were living. We both were living like we were quarantined anyway, because when you're independent, I mean, it's all in bet, so you're not really moving around out in the clubs and in the streets as much. But
and
you already move like that. So this is pretty easy for you. This actually just took your game up to another level, I'm sure.
well,
Just sitting there and you actually get to concentrate a little bit more.
well, basically what you have to understand is people that aren't really selling things of quality, their business model is going outside and pretending that they are. So all those people whose business model was going outside, throwing parties, and pretending their life is better than they are to overcompensate for the fact that they really have nothing to sell. other than, you know, that they're pretending they're winning. Now you have to
Celebrity.
really sell something. So for me, I don't have to run around and look for opportunities and pretend I'm doing stuff and that I'm up and all that when I'm not. All I got to do is focus on making good work. And I don't have to go outside to do that. And now I can actually put it out where all the majors only depend on doing things with a lot of people. That's because they have to spend a lot of money, and they have to project when they spend the money, and they have to project how much they think it's going to make, and that's how it dictates how much they're going to spend. Right now, they can't project. There is, like, Facebook just said, quit all their business functions till 2021 June for any gatherings over 50 people. Now, if Mark already knows that, you know, he usually has good intel, whether it's hiding it from us or not. He's showing you right now, it's not looking like people are going to be able to do too much socially for a year. So this is why this is the time that you have to figure out how to be self-sustainable. Figure out what that product is that you really are good at making or get good at it, and figure out how to make money through social distancing. So my model is what I didn't really understand is, to me, my model was always recession proof because it's entertainment and it gives you residual income. I didn't even realize it was pandemic proof because I never thought it would happen, but it is. So you always have to.
You never looked at it as being pandemic proof because there was no pandemic for you to measure it by.
I've never had that in my lifetime, but what I do know is my business model can stand a hurricane, it can withstand a pandemic, it can withstand a recession. You understand what I'm saying? And for some reason, I always thought it's always important to have as much content as possible just in case there's a time I can't shoot. So now I have so much content, but I also, because I own the cameras, because I own a 6,000 square foot facility, or, you know, I have one, I can also make content when I feel like it in a very safe way, which is what I've been doing, you know?
Which is going into, like, you know, what we talked about last week, how someone could even look at you doing the network as being a folly. But really, in actuality, that's where everything is going anyway, and it's already there, you know? So you already knew this. I remember back in, like, early, that might have been 2000, maybe 2. When did you guys do Block Savvy? I remember when you guys were doing Block Savvy, and it was so much footage, and you had all this content, and you had, you know, people going around filming stuff for you, but you were already thinking ahead of the game. But look at everything now. Like, everything is still not caught up to where you're at as far as content, because you treated your whole mission like the Truman Show. Because I remember, like, when I would go to the house on Camden, you always had cameras around.
Yeah. Well, what you're noticing is what you and I have been doing for the last 5 years, which is making content from our house. Now the world is forced to do that. And now that the world is forced to do it like that, I can actually make content outside of the house. So my thing is always to be something a little different than someone else is doing. You feel me? So now that everyone got to do what I was doing before, it's played out to me, and I'm on to doing something at a more evolved level. It was logical to me once I saw what the internet was, what it was going to look like in the future. Once I visualized that, it made no sense for me to conduct my business as I had been conducting it. And I also let the whole world know this. I did not keep it a secret, but I feel like the pandemic has actually speeded things up my process a couple of years, because now no one, or at least no one that's in the same business as me, which is the network business, can actually make new content. So you're going to see a lot of old content from everyone else, but you're going to see nothing but brand new content. So that means I don't have too much competition in this moment. So this is the time for me to make a break, or for me to make a go at the throne. Now it's time to take the throne. But the throne I'm trying to take in this moment is the television business. I took the throne in the fashion business. I took the throne in the music business. And one could listen to how I'm speaking and say, is, you know, I'm being arrogant, but I'm just telling you the truth. When I look at something, I don't look at being good in the business. I look at taking over the business. And what I realized through this thing with Adam is how much of a surprise and how crazy it is when a black man questions a white man, how much a white man looks at it as disrespectful, and also how much we're programmed not to question them, right? So, because, you know, I'm looking at this situation and I'm hearing I'm disrespectful, and every single conversation I had with Adam was televised, and none of them was disrespectful. I just questioned his point of view, and that's disrespectful to another culture. But also, within our culture, I've asked white, black, shooters, all type of people, y'all think I'm a little different. I'm a unicorn. Y'all think I'm wild only because I'm the only guy that calls white people out as well as black people out by name, picture, right? So I would say to you, I'm gonna give you this challenge. Can you name another black man, you know, besides Farrakhan, that you know living, that actually calls out a white and black, but white people by their name?
No, but nobody in this day and age. The last person was living in Harlem, which was Khalid Abdul Muhammad, but he passed. So,
now,
you know, nobody that I know I can think of right off.
Now, let me ask you another question. How many black people do you know call out black people and fight black people by name? How long is that list?
It's a long list, brother. It's put it like this. It's like the Great Wall of China. It's about that long,
Now,
brother. It's heavy.
Now that's not a coincidence. Now take me out the equation. Just the fact that we do so much fighting of each other and we can't even think or even remember us fighting one of them means that must be a program.
It is, right.
Like I asked someone I knew that is a shooter and I said, yo, we had a real frank conversation. I said, yo, you never shot nobody white. I never heard of you beefing with nobody white. Why? No answer. It's just and you know why? I had a conversation with a white girl, a woman that I respect, about this. And in the conversation, I realized what it was. Everyone is always afraid to fuck up the plug. They never want to mess the connect up. So the way we're controlled is they have us believing they're the plug, so we'll never do nothing to them. And that's the way we're controlled. The only reason why we don't fight them is because we think they're the only connect to hitting the big lick. And that's the reason why.
So we don't speak up. You're saying we don't speak up in opportune times when speaking up is definitely appropriate in that situation.
We don't speak up against them because we think they're the plug. They got us programmed thinking that if we fuck with them, we can't exist. Now, when you look at this Adam situation, like I heard what he said, you know,
I watched it. I watched it twice.
First of all, it was funny because he shaved his beard off, and now he wants to be a different, complete person. So
I thought it was Ben Affleck when I saw it. I didn't know who that was.
But number two, he was projecting that I'm again a rude person. But did you see me talk to him rude?
Nah.
What was rude to him was that I questioned him. Now, he even disrespected my staff, right? Number one, why can't a black man have a staff? Why they have to be called yes men? So if people are in my building, they're not there to hang out. They are there to say yes because I'm paying them. If they say no, they get fired. So a black man has in his brain. And also, there were only women there working. So if a black man has people around him that are doing what he says, they got to be yes men. They can't be employees. Number one. Number two, I don't have a beef with Adam. My problem was I don't know why he was talking about me to another man and then speaking on my business with my family. And in public. I just think that's, you know, it's very girly. I just didn't, you know, but that's the reason why I felt he must have done it. But also, his perspective on it is really showcasing how people like him think. If I have a polite conversation with you, but I'm questioning you, then I'm disrespectful. And how is it that the most obnoxious people that disrespect people and offend people all day, all of a sudden get so sensitive when a black man asks a regular question?
Right.
And because of that, him and his other white friends have a list of people that will question us. So our job is to go out publicly and say that they're disrespectful, disrespect their staff, and disrespect the credibility of their business. I've done none of that with him at all. And he wasn't man enough to, those things that he said were his reasons, never articulated that to me in his life. He literally used to sneak out while we were still on filming and leave, and I'd be like, yo, where'd you go? He never called me and said, Dame, I don't want to work with you. I'm not comfortable. First he said,
what about the 500? The 500?
The $500?
Yeah.
He called me to interview me. I don't know him. I gave him a rider. I have to pay a driver. So I'm not going to pay a driver out my pocket to go make him some money. But what was the problem there was the fact that you don't tell a man's personal business or business in public like that. So regardless of whether you paid me or was a rider, you're not supposed to do that. And number two, the narrative, it seemed like he tried to make it appear like he was paying me and I needed it. You understand what I'm saying? So all I've seen him do is try to discount everything I'm doing as an independent black man. So even though my office or my building is 6,000 square feet and his office is 50 feet, even though I have movie cameras and a staff and he has people, I don't know if he even pays and I'm not gonna even get into that. So I'm not, and his staff has always been very polite. So I would never disrespect them and say they were yes men. You understand what I'm saying? I never walked around and said, oh, Adam is disrespectful, a bad businessman, and he was trying to like rob me, because what he was trying to do was use our footage and put it on his platform, but not split the money. And I was like, yo, if you're gonna produce here, we're supposed to be partners. You gotta give me whatever you make on that hat, just like we do, right? That was the reason why I'm disrespectful, is because I wouldn't submit to their business model. The same business model Vlad has. He doesn't pay the people he interviews. He doesn't have partnerships with them. His business model is to put his stuff next to other stuff that gets a lot of traffic so that he can get that and use our dysfunction and interview us and not pay us to make money, and then say that we're disrespectful when we don't adhere to that when they want us to.
Or we don't agree, right? It's disrespectful.
So I find him funny, all of them. We're playing a different game. I'm playing a network game. They're playing a podcast. One, you know, it's different.
Yeah.
And
he still denied the fact of, like, that the black guy on the show was trying to ask him about the question, and he was denying it still as if he didn't say that. And that's what was interesting about, because he did say it. We all saw it. There was no footage manipulation. You could see that.
Well, it's called unconscious racism. I have friends that are white that don't even know they're racist. They say things and I'm like, yo, that was racist. But I'm not racist. You just don't know that you're racist. You don't know that because you think it's disrespectful for a black man to have an opinion, that that's racist. Just because you've never seen a black man with an opinion. You don't know that it's disrespectful to talk and tell other black people what they're feeling and you're not black. You don't know that that's disrespectful. It's just unconscious. Like, he's with a straight face talking about my family, talking about my staff, talking about my business, calling me disrespectful, and he getting paid for it. And to him, he thinks it's normal. It's normal business. He thinks it's normal for him to make money talking about our culture, but never talks about his. A lot of our discussions would be, bro, you only talk about rap. Why don't you talk about rock? You know, why don't you critique the people in rock and roll instead of critiquing the people in the culture that you're not really from and making money from it? You understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's also why, like, every time we, like, I would say about 90% of the time we've sat down, you know, you can't have a guy that's this Yoda figure. That's what I call you, like the Yoda of hip hop, and not pick his brain about business and about life and his experiences. And you've seen his work. You've seen what everyone has seen what you've done. You have proof of concept. So to sit with you and talk to you about continually talk about Jay-Z or talk about Rockefeller, unless it's about the business aspects, it's sort of a waste of time in this day and age. And a lot of people are seeing it now because so many people are compelled to just listen and watch gossip. They like the drama. They like all the bullshit. But say if it comes time for you to battle, nobody's there to battle with you, but they want to talk about it and they want to put you out there like you're a scumbag or you're talking about somebody behind their back. So that's why it's always important for me, like, you know, even in this thing, what you said in the beginning about being independent in this pandemic is actually a benefit. More people need to understand how that's a benefit because so many people are like, they've lost their jobs. You know, there's different relationships that have broken apart during this pandemic because people really didn't like the person they were before. You know, if they had to sit still, you know, sitting still reveals and turns the volume up on who you really are a lot of times, all the time, really. And so that's what's going on right now. People need to understand it's like, get into your hobbies, actually start working on that script or that project that you planned on working on, but your job was taking you away from it. You know, this is what it's all about right now. Execute and take advantage of the time.
Well, if you notice,
Definitely.
every single time you see a visual of me, I'm showing and showcasing and challenging people to figure
Right.
out how to find the light in the dark. And a
Yeah.
lot of people think that change is a bad thing. But my thing is, the world will never be the same again, right? And a lot of
No.
people weren't having a good time. They weren't being successful. They were depressed in the old world. So now that there's a new world, figure out how to come out not depressed. If you were in the dark, come out in the light. You know, this is the time to focus on coming out better and finding out how to. The bottom line is, I wouldn't feel safe ever doing anything for money consistently unless it's pandemic proof moving forward.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because once something happens, like if you're in a hurricane, you know, you're like, yo, that shit will probably happen again at some point. So the next time you build your house, after it gets destroyed, you build it back up again, but you make it hurricane proof or you don't build it at all. It wouldn't make sense because you know you're gonna go through the same shit again. So you go through something once, it's like, you know, you weren't expecting it. It's justifiable to be not prepared. But the second time it happens, if you're not prepared, you're a fucking idiot. You know,
Yeah.
and the thing about this situation is it really shows how much one person can affect the whole world. You
Woo.
understand what I mean?
You're damn right. Yeah, you're
Like
right, man.
one person with a negative energy can be so contagious. And I look at that as mentality, you know, people don't understand their energy and how important it is to make sure you're around the right energy because it's contagious. So if you're
Damn
around
right.
a bunch of racist people, you're going to be racist. If you're around a bunch of smart people, it's going to make you smarter. If you're around a bunch of stupid people, it's going to make you stupider.
Yeah.
That energy, it's just like when someone sneezes, you sneeze. When someone laughs, it makes you laugh. When someone cries, it makes you want to cry. Energy is
Yeah.
strong. So instead of passing around stupid, dumb bubblegum shit energy, let's pass around some positive love energy. And
Right.
I bet you, whoever in this moment is completely unhappy, other than because they're unhealthy or someone else is hurt because of this, I bet they're a selfish person. So if
Right.
you're alone and unhappy right now, I bet the reason why, think to yourself, have you ever loved anyone besides yourself and how you've done it? Have you ever taken care of anybody besides yourself? If you ride in a two-seater, if you got a studio apartment and you're a certain age, think to yourself why you're alone. If you don't give love, you don't get it. You
Damn
understand
right.
what I'm saying?
I was just talking about this the other day. I was talking about like all the takers are in a horrible position right now, you know, because they did so much taking, but the givers should actually feel good in this situation because they've continued to give and they're still giving in this situation. But the fear thing is just so heavy out here in the streets, man. Like even talking to some of my clients, some of my friends from back in the day, I mean, you know, it's the fear thing is the real virus. You know, people out here really afraid of what's coming next, and instead of planning and creating something that becomes recession proof. You know, even
Not
people
recession.
creating masks right now. Yeah, I know
Pandemic.
somebody a friend of mine, the guy we did the interviews with back in the day, not to cut you off, John Robinson, his wife, she does those masks. She created masks. He does like some different designs, and they've been doing very well online. You know, people are getting, you know, just get smart, man. Try some different things out, and you'd be surprised what happens. And they've been making a ton of money selling those masks.
Well, also, if you're going to invest in anything right now, it should be something that revolves essentials. Essentials will always sell. Content will always sell. Liquor will always sell.
Right.
You know, drugs will always sell. You know,
hand sanitizer, you know,
yeah,
soaps, lotions.
but see, but now that market is crowded because, like, I've had calls like, "Yo, why you not making masks?" I'm like, "Do you understand? Wait a second. Do you understand the demand it is right now to make masks? And whatever factory is making masks right now, they want all their money up front. There's no credit right now. So you have to understand, like, there are opportunities, but if you get on a crowded block, you know, if you wait till everyone's doing something, that's why I'm like, yo, now everybody wants to do a podcast. I'm like, that's old.
Consignment.
That's
no
like
consignment.
No consignment. But if you're doing things that everyone's been doing, it's like, there's so many people right now that are doing what I've been telling them to do 5 years ago, and I'm laughing at it. You know, they're even trying to avoid me. I'm like, nah, dog, I told you to do content years ago, and now you can't do a show, and you're going to have to do content, you know, and you're going to have to figure it out. Celebrities are going to have to understand how to cut out the middleman to make money, because they can't deal with a promoter like that no more. They got to talk directly to their consumer. They're going to have to start doing private shows for motherfuckers. And that's what I've been telling people a long time ago. You don't have to have a lot of people to make a lot of money. So if you got 10 super fans that'll pay $1,000 to see you, you just made $10,000 just to perform in front of 10 people. Just talk to the people that really love you. All that mash, it costs too much to talk to people that pay too little to see you. You know, you're hustling sideways. Too many other people are making money. See, the way the model was set up before is a lot of middlemen. So the people with the real talent feel they can't do it without the middleman. So now what you're going to learn is you can do it without the middleman. Now, what was I saying 5 years ago? Cut out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman.
How many times have you heard me say in 5-10 years, there is now a direct-to-consumer relationship that people should exercise where you can now cut out the middleman, right?
Right. And the pandemic has shown that more than ever. It's exposed it even more.
But the crazy thing, why did it take a pandemic and all these people to die for people to listen to me?
We've been knowing that.
If they would have listened to me 5 years ago, we'd be in a better place. But instead, when I say something futuristic, they say I'm crazy. They say I'm disrespectful. You know, when I say somebody's not a good guy, just because he might be having like the ability to put other people in a better position, everyone says I'm crazy. You're fucking up the plug. I'm like, yo, that plug's gonna run out. And you're gonna be embarrassed for being around this person and not being able to recognize they're full of shit just because a paper bag made you jump out the window. You know? So, you know, you look at
I remember that conversation. You talked about that. Like, yeah, I remember that conversation. We had that back in the day about, you know, people taking the bag and then they have to be around a nerd. And now look at them, because they had to mess with somebody they really didn't like, they didn't want to be around, and the person was a nerd. So,
and now the whole world saw you bend the knee to someone that's not a good person for $1, and you have to say, my bad, or I didn't see it, or you have to just admit you looked the other way. You turned the blind eye for a bag. You know, no respect for your own principles and morals. You know.
Yeah.
So
moving forward with the thing with you know, everything that's going on, like the biggest part that I saw with the interview, and I'm just gonna briefly touch on it, was that he actually threw Vlad under the bus in that situation. This is like a common thing that a lot of people do. You know, it's like glad didn't make him talk about you. You know, he asked him a question because it's, you know, it was an interview show. So the main thing that I think that was silly about the thing was that he's not taking responsibility for what he said, and he's not taking responsibility for even talking about your family when, you know, that should have been out of line and should have been something that he should have just, you know, it shouldn't have been done.
Well, think about this, Kenyatta, not to cut you off. I was in his face and asked him a plain question. Why do you think, as a white man, you could tell black people what other black people want? He refused to answer that question, and he doesn't even, he's saying it's a lie or something, I don't know. So you think he's gonna answer any other question, me from a distance, that he doesn't feel like a black man dare ask him a question? Then
Right.
that would make me disrespectful. Like, I don't have a beef with Adam. He's Adam. Like, that's embarrassing for me to have a beef with a guy like that. No disrespect. But we just, even that's disrespectful for him to even be talking about me like that. He should be like, out of respect for Damon, I'm not going to say a word. Out of respect for Damon, when Damon asks me a question, I'm going to answer it. You know, instead, he's calling me names. He's calling my staff names. But really what that is, that's how they try to trigger us. But that doesn't trigger me, because I know that it's a distraction from the truth. He wants me to jump out of pocket so that he looks like it's justified. That's what they always do. So I'm calmly saying,
what he should have did was just said it wasn't him, because he shaved his beard off. It looked like it wasn't him anyway. So he might as well say it's not me.
Yeah,
that wasn't me.
I almost feel like he's just preparing to be on, you know, Entertainment Tonight, or he's using hip hop to get to break past pop culture. And sometimes the way to get into that circle is to sell our culture out, and then they'll let you in. So he's just putting in his work so that he could get accepted in that circle of people that put black people on a list and start talking about them so that they can't get any money, or try to prevent them, or try to make their business look small. You know, even though they're not even nowhere near understanding what that means to start a television network, a streaming service, and own all your own equipment, and, you know, all the things that come with that. It's a different, you know, that he's not used to boss talk. You know, he's talking soldier talk, and I'm talking general talk. So even in our interviews, I'd be like, bro, this is not a podcast, a TV show. Podcast. He was just programmed to only be a soldier and to get in where he fits in, no matter who it bothers. Like, it's a selfish way to make money when people are dying because you're putting yeast on something and making it a lot bigger than it is, and then 2 people die and you don't even care just because you made money off it. You know, it's easy to do that when you're in someone else's culture. It's easy to fuck another man's house up, but I don't see him fucking his own house up. I don't see him spreading gossip flames around his culture's house. He's just spreading gossip flames around our culture's house. And we're hot as it is. You know, we're under a lot of stress as it is. We're trying to survive as it is. So when you put a little more yeast on something, it makes you overreact for something that you might be mad about from before. But he knows this. And the people that are paying him know this. And the circle he's trying to get into that says, yo, if you come in this circle, you can't have a beard. You got to shave all of that. And he's starting to conform. So once I seen he was doing this, first he disappeared, next thing he's on Snapchat, and literally he's turned into Wendy Williams. You feel me?
Oh, shit. Oh,
literally, but only for you know, younger hip hop. And another thing, he's too old for that. You know why people start shaving and shit like that? They start feeling old. He's now, you know, he's too old to be talking about what a 15-year-old is doing. It's not fair, because when you're that old, you know how to push a younger person's buttons. You know where they're headed when you do that. So he should have some consciousness of the fact he's older than everyone he's talking to, and that he should be giving them good advice, not making them gossip and then promoting that. Like
making them dumb. Right.
If you look at his show, show me anything positive he's talking about anybody he's talking about. It's all about whatever bad happened. How could you be a reporter that only reports what bad happens in the culture? Like, you got to report good. If you're going to report bad, it's only to learn from it. But if you should be reporting bad and good, not just bad. You can't have content that's just based on the downfalls of people. You know what I mean? Like, which is agenda doing that? And again, he ain't doing it in his own culture. Why can't he go talk about some actors? You know? He's not, I don't hear him talking about no skateboarders. I don't hear him talking about no BMX riders. I don't hear him talking about no punk rockers. He's from where, you know, it's rock and roll. Why not cause some dysfunction there? You understand what I'm saying? We're already in a place where we're young, misguided, with a lot of money, with a big platform.
He looks at black people as an easy payday. Black people are easy payday for him because of the dysfunction.
The destruction of black people is the easiest payday for someone from any culture.
Yes.
Usually they're the ones that benefit. And again, I might respect it more like a Howard Stern. Now he talked to everybody. Black, white. I had to go up there with him for Old Dirty Bastard, and he did it like anybody, he getting at him. But I don't see him getting at anybody from his own culture. He's even scared to talk about people from his own culture. Why? Because no one wants to end up on that list that they slipped up and talked about in public. Vlad said, we have a list. Damon's on that list. Obviously they're sharing a list. He said it. He actually admitted there's a list, and we're gonna accept that? Anyway, fuck that list. Anybody who has that list is whiteball. They're only making that list because they're not allowed to work with me. I don't want, like to say, he just said I don't work with, how do you make a movie without working with nobody? He doesn't collab. You know why I don't collab? Because I pay people. But I do collab. We're collabing right now. But when I make a movie in a production, they're not yes men, they're employees in that moment. I don't have to do all of that. I'm 48. I'm not hanging out with niggas collabing. Like, what type of shit is that? Damon's collabing. What is that? And yeah, I am collabing. I'm collabing with like Comcast. That's if I do a collab, I'm gonna do a collab with a congressman or a senator. I'm 48. I don't want to fucking do a collab with, no disrespect, but an 18-year-old rapper. All I could do is give him advice.
Right.
Collab? What are we gonna talk about? All I'm gonna do is be teaching them all day.
Yeah.
Unless I'm just there to exploit them. See, what Vlad and what Adam thought, they never came up against a black man that's unexploitable. So that makes me disrespectful. Not only will you not rob me, you will not disrespect me or my culture. And if you have some slick shit to say, it better be in another room. Because that's the only time I keep hearing this cute shit. He's a very polite guy in my face. And now I'm rude and I'm all these names. And I don't know why. I let him in my house. I was very, very, very polite. You let a man in your house and you treat him well, and they still go and talk about you. Just because their house is bigger than yours.
He shaved his beard so you wouldn't recognize him if you saw him. That's what it was. He didn't want
Bottom line is we would never be in the same place anyway.
Yeah.
Like we're in a different circle. We're in a different hemisphere. So even if I did run into him, I'd be like, go ahead. Social distance, keep it 20 feet, bro. And keep it like that. But again, I didn't know we had a problem until I found out about it on Vlad. Because he wasn't.
The question to Vlad is, where's this list and who's on this list?
Yeah.
Where's the list?
I need the man to see that list and who.
Let's see that list.
Where's the list, Vlad? That's what I want to know. Let me see that list and who's on it and who else you've told this to. What other black people have you put on this list and who you've given it to? What other black people have you tried to stop from getting money? That's what I want to know. Because that list don't get money with him. And he needs to explain that list. We need to, see, that's the thing. They sometimes they talk about so much shit, they forget the little things that we pay attention to. All the other shit, I was like, hold on, but what about that list? What's the list?
He ain't gonna do nothing but deny like Adam did. Oh, I didn't say that. Oh, I didn't say nothing about a list.
It's on tape. Bro, it's on tape. The list
on
is my
tape.
thing.
Where's the list?
Where is the list?
So yeah, man. So shit. What's up with Tallulah?
Man, Tallulah's thriving, bro. You know, I did what I could to make sure I raised her direct. That's why I'm here. I've been consistent for 5-6 years. You know, I've been able to really, really give her my point of view on life unobstructed, you know, because when you're around your child, no one can talk about you because they can't go by what they hear. They can only go by what they see.
What they
So
see.
ain't nobody tell her I'm a bad dad because she see me every day. And they don't. So whoever can say bad things about me can't talk about it, can't see me.
Right.
All she could go by is our interaction. So, you know, it's crazy because what made me go into this life of social distancing was so I could be a dad. I adjusted my whole life so I could be with my daughter first. I had to be able to be flexible so that when she says come, I can run and just say, yo, I'm out. I can't be worried about, you know, other people when my children come first. You know, when you manage someone else, they're supposed to come before your children. Yeah. And I'm not with that. You feel me?
She hates to be when you working and you have her. I remember that. She used to hate that. Like
all the attention. And
yeah, she deserves it. She deserves it.
Why would I not want to give her? She's not going to be a baby very long. I'm like, I'm going to marinate every moment of this. She's going to be an adult in like 2 years. So she's the miniature version of what she's going to be for a long time. I'm enjoying every second of that. You know, I don't see why somebody wouldn't. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. Through the pandemic, I still see nothing has changed for me other than let nobody in the house at all, period.
Right. And not moving around and yeah.
I never was moving around. I go to my gallery, I come back and go to the dock. That's it. That's it. You know?
Keep it simple.
My life is simple. I mean, you know, I'm doing the things I enjoy. You know,
yeah.
See, basically we're programmed to get up at a certain time, go outside at a certain time, come back home at a certain time, then party at a certain time. So this is just a glitch in the matrix. We're like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I never was in that program. So it's not fucking with. There's no glitch in my program.
Yeah.
But I am being cautious. But if someone has to go to work and they don't have no choice, like I've actually spoke to people like, you going to work? Yeah, I have to. What do you mean you have to? So you have to risk your life because your boss says so? That's people are actually risking their life for a job.
Yeah, I know somebody like that. They're risking it for the job and they have an opportunity they can take off and get paid and say it's the corona, but
some people scared to lose a job. So you get no public transportation around unaccountable strangers. Program. I'm supposed to go to work. I'm not supposed to relax. I'm not supposed to take a nap. I'm meant to be worried. If I'm not worried, then I'm worried about not being worried. That's all that's happening.
Hamster wheel. Running fast, going nowhere. Same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So yeah. What you say?
My whole thing is to walk it like I talk it, you know. So every single week, I'm giving new professionally produced content that was made during the corona. That's my get money while I'm home challenge. And I'm shooting movies, I'm doing writing, but I'm still being productive. Like every day I can still look and say, how much did we sell? You feel me? Every day. Every day. Every day. It'd be a good time to have a book out. Books are corona proof too.
Yeah.
I call it
got like
it's panda proof.
4 chapters done.
Well, you know, people at home.
Panda proof.
Information is
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda proof, bro. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Yeah. That's that. Hey, it's real talk. That's what it's all about. So don't waste no time. Everybody out there, to stop wasting time. Get on your grind. It's the best time to get on something, man. Figure out something that's pandemic proof.
Period. And I bet you it'll be easier than what you was doing before. It'll yield and you'll get some residual income. I bet you. So again,
yeah, you already know.
Now.
All right, Dan. So let's build tomorrow.
Yeah,
or like Saturday. What's up with Saturday?
Whatever, bro. We ain't doing nothing. I mean, we're gonna get this and send it to you. Do what you gotta do.
All right, shit. I hit you.
All right.